Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yes, my name is ArrowFyre. Welcome to episode 7 of Let's Talk Transformers. I am joined this evening by 3 wonderful co-hosts. I have Steve Skywarp SCS, also known as Steve from Stevenage. I have David Cousens, the beautifully talented artist, and Graham, Primetime Moff from Primetime Toys. Gentlemen, thank you for coming along. Let us play the very loud intro. Don't worry that it's loud because YouTube censor it anyway.
Let's talk Transformers.
And give it the awkward bit of quiet afterwards because you can't hear you talk otherwise. There's always that. We just have to get used to it. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along this evening. So what we're going to do is going to go into a few bits of news that I picked out that we've seen through the week. There's not too much here, not too much we haven't already seen. We'll just go through that and then we'll get into the discussion. So let me know if you can see this. I think you can.
Yep.
So, Blockies. I have fallen down this trap. It's too late for me, save yourselves. But this is going to be the future wave of Blockies. This is going to be their wave 5. I say wave 5, I think it's listed as that, but they've actually released some of their existing ones in the Gold Lagoon ones, in the Gold Lagoon paint scene, so just them in gold. So 5, 6, whatever. But this is obviously for Transformers 1. So we have, for those who have seen it, you've got Orion Pax, Optimus Prime, spoiler, but it is. Bumblebee, B127, Wheeljack, where are we? Ironhide, Hound, Megatron, or D16, Sentinel Prime, and this is, I forget the name of it. What's the guard actually called? Was it like Death Squad or something? I can't remember.
Yeah,
but that's what's coming out. As I say, I have massively fallen down that hole. So when this is going live, I'm getting them. Any of you interested in Blockies in particular?
I've managed to avoid them thus far, and the only reason I've managed to avoid them thus far is because I am so unbelievably cack-handed. Is that there is no way that I would have the coordination to put them together without spreading the bits all over the floor or snapping things. I struggle. I don't know if anybody. I mean, I'm a big Transformers Prime fan. That's really a franchise I've enjoyed. And if you remember the Takara releases with the Arms Micron kits.
Mm-hmm.
And I really struggled with those Arms Micron kits, and they were aimed at like 6-year-olds. So these things are well off my radar.
I'm trying to avoid them because I'm fully aware that I could end up doing a massive rabbit hole with them.
Could you try that again with more conviction, please, David?
Yes. I both hope and dread that somebody's going to just give me some at a convention. And so I go like, oh, fine, I have a play. And then suddenly I just be like, well, there's another mortgage payment added on.
Yeah,
they do look good.
Yeah, they are just simple fun. I mean, I got the first set and that was it. And I was unfortunate to be sent some by Blockies Flex. Sorry, but it is true. I'm famous now, so whatever. So I got. I was very lucky. I was very fortunate, and I've actually gone back and got the last set now coming that I haven't got for the 4 waves that are out already. But I'll be getting this as well because they're just simple fun. Even yourself, Steve, even you can put these together, and you'll scatter bits on the floor.
Yeah. I did watch your video and watch you put those together. How long were they? I mean, obviously the video was filmed over a time. How long was it taking you to assemble, give or take?
What, one figure? You mean?
Yeah.
If a figure like this, like Sideswipe, I don't know, 9 minutes maybe at most. By the time you take it all from its by the time you take them all out of their little sort of housings that and then
off the sprues and that kind of stuff.
Once you've done one, they all more or less connect the same way, barring a few differences. But once you've done one, you'll get quicker each time. Don't do what I did and do 2 boxes worth in an entire sitting and then record it.
I did wonder when I watched that video. I thought that felt ambitious.
My fingers were red. God, they were red.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And when they talk about, sorry, I know you want to get through the news bits, but when they talk about them being waves, how much space are we talking in between releases? Do we know?
These haven't been, Graham, mate. You might have to keep me honest here, but these haven't been out in the public eye that long, and
that's what I thought.
Waves already.
So they have been available overseas, so you could get like the first box like last year from China.
Really?
Western release has been a way bit behind. So I'm not going to flex like Ian. I am now an official distributor for Blockies. So I now have my contact. I had gotten through our wholesaler originally, and we were planked beside them at TFN, and I kind of did. I'd like to get them from you directly if possible, because hopefully it'll be easier and quicker. Because they had their stock in, and we hadn't had even our first boxes in yet. I've only had the first series so far, but as of the first 3 seasons I had ordered through wholesaler, but as of the 4th and then this, we'll be getting them through Blockies. But they are pumping them out now to try and catch back up. And the aim, so I've had the conversation with I can't remember his name from Blockies. Bob, just gonna call him Bob. Bob from Blockies.
Good old Bob.
Bob was telling me that the aim is to get them caught back up, so you will feel as if it's like a bit overwhelming just now, but they'll get to the point where they're releasing on a very similar timescale to China. So Transformers 1 wave should be at that point. So yes, it'll feel a bit crazy because there'll be like 4 waves, and then like you usually say Golden Lagoon, but once we get to this, it should be a wee bit of a time between them. I think it's the aim is to have one box a quarter, and then they'll have all the extra ones, the kind of bigger ones and the light up ones and all the kind of different ones. So there's different kind of lines you can go down with them.
Generally they're just fun. It's just simple fun. It's enjoyable, and it's a rabbit hole. It's too late for me. Yeah, come join me, David. Come join me.
But this is the thing. I don't want somebody to give me a Dinobot one, because then I'll be gone. That's happened before.
Yeah. 3. There's 3 of them at the moment. And what they do is they've released the Dinobots in robot mode, but also in Dino mode as well. That's the only ones that they've actually done alt mode versions for. So we've got Sludge and Swoop to come, and they'll be in Dino mode as well. So yeah, they'll get you. Don't worry.
Damn it.
Moving on, and Graham, this is a good one for you then. Scrapper, or how are you actually saying his name?
Bob.
No, stop doing that.
That's Bob from Blockies.
A moderate of professionalism, please, sir.
I don't know. I've not seen him. I'm waiting for that. ArrowFyre. This guy ArrowFyre to give us a review, and I'll go whatever you decide. That's how I'll pronounce it.
Well, it's like it's saying Gary, Gary,
but it doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. A good person to know will be Ed, Vaults of Icon. He's pretty good at working out what these third-party names are. But this is starting to be out in the wild. I mean, you've got these yourselves coming in, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just literally on tenterhooks waiting for them to come in. We've been paid, they've been shipped, they just haven't arrived yet. So I am very much looking forward to getting them in. Like we were talking beforehand, I've not done any of the kind of masterpiece proper combiners. It's not really appealed to me. Devastator's different. And Predaking's different. I'd say that's you as well. Like a proper Predaking. Competition maybe. But yeah, this looks good. I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah, this has also come from the impending release, but Fans Toys have put out their combining video showing you how it combines and gets into combine mode and transformation. So this is where we're starting to see a lot of these now. This thing here is going to hit the back of Devastator's leg, his high heels, if you know what I mean. And it's detachable. It's a big old clasp. But I've been talking to Sam Swarmers about this quite a lot. It doesn't look fabulous in alt mode. It doesn't look great, but we'll see. It's probably going to have the lovely Fans Toys bells and whistles, and it certainly scales alongside like there with MP36. David, Steve, either of you in for Fans Toys Masterpiece Combiners?
No, not for. I got out of the Masterpiece game a while ago, Largely just for a space issue. I think I ended up going more mainstream chug stuff, just because I just filled up so many shelves of things. But I mean, it's very tempting. I've still kept a couple. I've got my Soundwave and Shockwave.
Good man.
Yeah, and I think likewise, I think I'm very much with Dave, and it does, space and capacity does become an issue. And Ian, I watched your, and you have to excuse me on the names, the recent one that you did, the Masterpiece styled Superion, and it looks like, depending on where you live, you're gonna need to charge that thing rent. It takes up that much space, and I think you've got two of them.
No, oh my Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
The thing is, when I lift him up off the floor, he leaves footprints. That tells you.
Yeah, it's just mental. Plus
That's
for me, and again,
knee.
as a kind of an outsider in the third party game, I do look at some of these things and I think, how many third party Devastators have there been now?
We've talked that before, haven't we?
Yeah, no,
yes, indeed.
And I'm going back from the only one I've ever owned was going back quite a while. It was quite dated now. It was the TFC Hercules.
Yeah, that was my first one as well.
Which of course was pre that Combinables Devastator that Hasbro and Takara put out. But no. So to answer your original question, Ian, sorry not to deviate from the news. Not for, can totally appreciate it for what it is, and more power to anybody that adds it to their collection and gets some enjoyment out of it. It's just not my bag.
No, it's fair. I mean, I'm looking forward to see what the fuss is about, but I could be under the X-Transbots banner for it. But we'll see. I mean, I did enjoy their Superion, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this is very hyper-tuned, and I always worry that sacrifices the robot mode or whatever. But guess what? More Devastator. So this is Mecca Invasion. I'll quickly go on this one. I won't spend too long on it because Graham and I have spoken around third-party Devastators, and in the midst of another Devastator war, here we are again. This is their scrapper, but he turns into Devastator's arm. No less. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that MP10?
Yeah, that looks like MP10.
MP10 in Shattered Glass.
Yeah.
So this is going to be up to fairly MP scale. It's a different aesthetic. I don't mind it. I mean, God knows he's got wheels going on. You can't really miss those. But I like it. It's very Generation Toy, which is the only Devastator that I've got. That kind of, you see the real world gubbins, which I like. I think that's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
But then Scrapper as an arm, that hits me wrong. Like to look at, and I look at it like and go, "What you doing up there, mate?" Scramble City, I suppose it doesn't matter, but I look at it and I'm just like, "Oh, what?" No,
Devastator's not Scramble City. Like he's Devastator's Devastator.
He's one of those combiners where everybody has their own unique function, and that's Devastator, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an odd one. It's a bit different, a bit stylized. At least not everyone's doing Plum G1 Devastator, because we've got enough companies doing that. But yeah, that's how it looks front and back. It's a leg. That looks like a leg.
So is it going to be more? So sorry, is it going to be dual purpose then?
Well, it is very possible. I must admit, when I downloaded them, I didn't really think of it because to my eye, Scrapper is a leg. So I just looked at that and gone, yeah, he's a leg. Of course he's a leg. But maybe we could have Mixmaster as an arm and a leg, Scrapper as an arm and a leg. Probably not long haul. He'll probably always be the torso. That's okay. That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. There's enough out there at the moment. But guess what? Let's talk Predacons. Yes. Yay. Laser Cat. I think it is.
Oh, that is great.
It's not. Now, this Prime is Rise of the Beast. Rise of the Beast Prime. This is Laser Cat. This is Mastermade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mastermade Overlord. So different company, but that almost same chibi, incentuated style. I've got this on pre-order because it's Predaking. Why not? I think this looks fabulous. It's very nicely detailed. That's what the head looks like. You see some combiner ports on the side. And then a very happy-looking dive bomb. He looks so happy. I love that. And of course, we could go no further without Razor Claw. Yeah, happy boy. So, what's the thinking? Do we have an interest for this in our collections? Apart from me, obviously.
Yeah, I'll get it. I've got a couple of the Mastermade ones. I still want that one, the Overlord one. But I kind of like that. It's just something a bit different. But the Predator looks great. Good fun.
I'm trying to work that out. How big is that?
No, it's probably at. I've had some of the Mastermade figures. I had a Mega Supreme and Triptychon. So a Mega Supreme probably stood as high as a standard masterpiece figure. So I've got blur here.
Okay.
And I'd say from head to toe, you can't, let me get Nipples out of the way. Nipples, move out of the way. There you go. He's probably about that head to toe, but obviously he's much more accentuated. He's wider and bigger and all the rest of it. So, but height-wise, they're not as obscene as you might think. But that's not their style. It's not what they're going for.
It'll be interesting to see if they do the kind of same as Mastermade did with the alternate heads. So you could buy the kind of extra kind of kit to kind of change the head to, rather than being the kind of big head like you see in Overlord there, to a kind of normal one.
Because they did that with their Devastator. Because I didn't get the Master. I got out a Mastermade because I could easily have picked up a load more of them. But they did do like a very proportionate side head, and it was like big head mode on the Nintendo 64, which was good. I liked it because it was something a bit different. But yeah, it's Predator. I'm going to get it. So yeah, that's that might be all the news. No, one more. MMC. We've seen this. We've seen this before. This is what will be their last figure. Excuse me. This is Ventus, I believe. Blades for their Defensor. I'm in for this set, but we haven't had Groove yet, let alone the final arm. It's only a prototype. Yeah, that's about the size of it. It's an arm. Yeah, not much to say on the matter. That is some of the news. Shall we do a quiz?
I told you were going to do a quiz.
Yeah.
I did not have an extra tab open. This is terrible.
Now, I'm going to try and work this out. This thing.
Oh, that's it. Quiz over.
Right, because we're done.
Yeah.
So just declare it. Just declare it a 3-way tie and be done with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. What the quiz is going to be this month is it's kind of a who's who. I'm going to be showing you 4 images of vehicles, and you've got to tell me which Transformer it is. Now, I'll tell you now, they're from the live action movies.
Oh,
you weren't going to get Sideswipe. You weren't going to get
it's Optimus Prime, isn't it? It's totally Optimus Prime.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll start with the red truck, shall I? So, let's see if I do my sherry screeny. Let's hope to God this works. If it doesn't work, it's all right. We might get something out of this. So we'll start with this one. You've got to tell me the character that you see. Right, and it's first person. Just blur it out. There's 4 of them. Because hopefully, should be 1 each and then a tie break. But say what you see. Which character is that? I don't need the film.
No,
just the
it is Mirage.
Yeah, I think Steve got that. I think Steve got that first. So yes, it is Mirage, and I'll zoom out a wee bit so you can see. There you are. See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
See, do you know what? I said Jazz, and I feel okay since that was a Porsche.
I agree with that.
do you know what? Kind of not wishing to around the quiz, but when the first trailer for that came out, and they showed the bit where they're racing down this, where he's racing down the straight away with the police cars, and then he obviously splits up into multiple versions because he does the whole Mirage gimmick. And Mrs. SCS, she happens to be watching it on my shoulder, and just from a point of brand recognition, bearing in mind she doesn't like Transformers, goes, "Oh, is that Jazz?" And because it's just so iconic. The Porsche is just so iconic with Jazz. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But
it's fine. Well, you've got the right to brag a little bit because you got it right. But here you go. Say what you see. First name that comes to your mind.
Galvatron.
Nemesis Prime.
Yeah, Moff's got it. Galvatron, indeed. Zoom out a wee bit more so you can see. There you are. Big Galvatron truck. Okay.
I wouldn't have known that if you zoomed out.
I
Well,
mean, Black Truck, Nemesis Prime.
Yeah, I would
you've
say
got a
yeah,
50-50
Nemesis Prime
chance there.
Scourge.
it was worth a punt.
Or Master would have
Okay.
been more accurate.
Yeah, it would have made sense if they just called him that. Okay, let's see what we see here.
Hot Rod?
Sideways.
Well done. Yes. No, Moff's got it again. Doing well. Hot Rod. Or to give him his French name, the Hot Rod. That's my best French there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And then finally, just to round it off. Click things, you idiot. Click things. Clicking everything but what I need to click. What is this?
Sentinel Prime.
Well done. He's on form. There you go. Yes. Weird, large, unnecessarily large truck.
Yeah.
But there you go. So congratulations, Moff. You win this month's quiz. How do you feel?
Embarrassed. Like, that's it. You know what? So you don't want to win like live action stuff? No.
No, you don't win anything.
I should have just said relive everyone and just, oh, I didn't win.
You say wheelie everyone. You'd have said it more than twice. I'm going to kick you. Okay, well, that's that out of the way. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? As much as we can. There's a certain movie that's come out recently, I believe. Now, I will say this. Yes, David has yet to see it, so we're going to have to be very...
I want to say, and I just saw Jim Stafford's in the comments. I think it's me, him, and about 14 other people who have not seen this film yet. Everybody else has seen it, so I appreciate you dancing around it for me, and the three of us.
Yeah, we'll be tactile as we possibly can. But I was fortunate to go and see it with TF Nation slightly early. But I understand it's coming out in the UK early October. Is it October 11th?
Yeah,
or whatever?
I've got one booked. I've got an early screening for the 7th booked. But yeah,
there you are. So you got some earliness out of it. But,
yeah, I can afford it.
It is, yeah. It's still something, but it's such a good film. And I did see one thing. I don't know. I've never looked too much into this, but talking about how much it's going to make in the opening weekend of box office, and I think someone said it's got to make 70 billion. I don't know, probably million. Otherwise, it's considered a blunder. I'm never sure, but they were showing a screenshot of all of these other films, and the '86 movie tanked at the box office.
Yeah.
Absolutely
bombed.
But then 2007, and surprisingly enough, the Dark of the Moon, that did surprisingly well. That did like 200 million. It was one of the most grossing Transformer movies. Even Bumblebee didn't get into three figures, which was a bit surprising.
Bumblebee didn't do a great number at all, like compared to the previous ones. I think that's the aspect of the movies. It's not about how much they make. The quality doesn't necessarily mean they were brilliant. They were big box office successes. I think this one will be. I think and we were talking this beforehand. I think it'll be popular enough that word of mouth will help non-fans go. I'm really, really interested to see non-fans go and enjoy it. If I take my wife, wouldn't call her a Transformers fan, but she knows it enough that she'll get recognition. She'll get, what we all expect from a Transformers film is when you're looking for the Easter eggs of, is that this person or that? Same as like the beginning of Bumblebee. That first scene in Bumblebee was for fans. That was for fans to geek out and go, oh, look, it's this, it's this, it's this. There are moments in Transformers 1 that are like that. And I think that'll massively, I'm desperate to go see it again because I want to watch through and go, who was that? Who was that? I've got a limitless pass with Cineworld Odeon, and I think I'm going to go see it 2 or 3 times just because, I've already paid for it. Why not? And I can kind of then look and go, what happened there? Who was that? Who's in the background? And I know you did that kind of, Ian, after the kind of film, you were kind of going, who's this? Who's that? So there'll be repeat watching from fans. I'm confident of that. Everybody I spoke to that's seen it wants to go see it again. I think that will drive numbers up. But I'm really, really interested to see how the kind of casual person kind of on the street do they enjoy it? And I think they will. I think it's got enough in it that it doesn't. You don't have to go in as a Transformers fan to enjoy it, and that's the litmus test to see if it's going to have that. Because Transformers 2007, that wasn't just fans going to see that. Like, that did box office because it was the big summer blockbuster that year, and it had that mass appeal. And I hope this has it. The people were complaining about it not being released in October. It's the right time. If you release that in the UK early, my kids, that date comes out, my kids finish up for half term. We've already planned to read it out within the next week to take them to go see it. You have to, for something like that, it's a cartoon, you kind of have to have the kid audience, the parent audience. The parents are like, oh, I've got my kids for a week. What am I going to do? Oh, there's a Transformers film. I'll go see it. It's the right call. That's true. Yeah. It sucks. Like, for people like yourself, David, who are going to have to wait to see it. And, I thought that was us. Most of us probably we're going to have to wait to see it over the Americans. But it's the right call for, in terms of box office and in terms of, us wanting it to be a success. And in the grand scheme of things, this is kind of the bit that always I think people forget is, seeing 3 years' time, David, you won't remember that. You won't care the fact you saw it 2 or 3 weeks later. And everything else, like, it's irrelevant. These people who saw it really early are like, oh, we've saw it. Yeah, but you saw it. It's over. You've still got that. You've now heard all the hype of people getting excited about it. I know I was more excited to see it because I'd heard, like, Jamie, Pete was chatting about it. He's like, you're going to love it. And it just built my excitement to I can't wait to see this now. And I think that'll help build for a lot of people who haven't seen it.
I think that's very true, actually, because I have found that initially when it was first announced, I thought, oh no, not another one to go through, and then it started to get decent. But I thought, oh, okay, I was kind of surprised, and then more and more slowly, I'd be like, pretty much everybody I know, it's like one by one kind of said, no, it's actually really good, and so now it's kind of like, oh, I can go in without that horrible kind of like arms crossed waiting for it to be,
I think what it is, and just to go, sorry, just to go back on what you just said about, oh no, not another one to go through. It's finally a Transformers film that I am not embarrassed to recommend to non-Transformers fans. So, I've got, colleagues at work who've got younger kids and that. And if they say, oh, Steve, you're into Transformers, is this worth going to see? I would have not recommended them taking their kids to see Revenge of the Fallen or Age of Extinction. Yeah, and you see what I'm getting at. So this is that film. This is that film that I can recommend to non-Transformers fans. I can recommend to friends and colleagues, and not just them thinking, oh, he's only told us to come and see this because he's into Transformers. This is genuinely, take the Transformers aspect out of it, and obviously take the slight bias that we have. This is genuinely a good, it's not a kids film, it's a good family animated film. Very, very much in the same vein for me as, unless people didn't enjoy it, but unless the same way they captured with Super Mario Brothers, the animated Super Mario Brothers that was done quite recently. It's not a kids film, it's a family film, and there's a subtle difference.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the pleasure of going along in Virtual Dave. I was with him as part of the TF Nation group that got tickets, and I was saying to Dave at the time, we just enjoyed it from start to finish. And I take Moff's point of it's just got that kind of hype at the moment, which is nice that it's generated and it's got such good feedback, unless your name's IGN, but you've got such positive feedback towards the film that it makes you want to go and be a part of it. And I just enjoyed it so much for what it was. Like I say, it didn't have any dips for me. And I was talking to one of the TF Nation guys after the film. We were chatting afterwards. We said the first trailer does not do that film justice. It doesn't harm it. I'm not going to say, oh, it's cost it because it was it gave a very innocent Toy Story kind of kiddish film, as it were. Not that that's particularly bad. But when you see the film in comparison to that very first trailer, there is quite a bit of difference in its message.
I think that first trailer very, very much overplayed those comedic elements, and it really did make it look like you're about to sit and spend your time watching the Bumblebee show and always goofy and wacky and that comedy stuff. Whereas actually the one-liners, and don't get me wrong, there are some absolutely blinding one-liners. There's again, without spoilers, there's a couple from Elite 1 where she's absolutely scathing.
Oh, she's brutal.
Yeah, she's absolutely, and she's brilliant with it. And they are genuinely funny moments, but that is not the tone of the film. And I think I think you're quite right. That first trailer did the film no justice whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we were talking, weren't we, Moff? We were saying about now is allegedly up for pre-order for a DVD release and Blu-ray, 4K, all of that, and this nice steelbook, which I think is lovely. I might even go down that route because I just enjoyed it so much. And again, Blockies capitalized on it, started throwing out figures, and it's here we go again. Let's do the dance.
I wonder if that's just maybe a bit preemptive. He says sat here knowing absolutely nothing about how to market a film relating to a multi-billion-dollar toy franchise, but telling people already that the DVD and the streaming and the Blu-ray is already going to be out is surely, when you want people to go and see it at the box office, is maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd have waited.
Maybe, yeah. It's the sort of thing like you see a lot of films that just come out in the cinema and then they end up on Netflix like a week later, and it's like
that's bad.
Crazy. Yeah, but no, high recommend, and I won't stay on it too much, but we had to talk about it. But David, when you get round to seeing it, you will be impressed. I'm sure you will.
I'm really like Graham said. I'm really kind of excited because so many people I know whose opinion I respect as well. That it's the people who actually would say like, no, this isn't that good, or limit your expectations, because you're always going to have your hardcore fans who are like, oh, this is the best thing ever, and it's like, well, I saw the last few films, but no, I'll probably end up, because I've got an unlimited pass as well, and I'll probably end up going to see it. Like I'll see it the Monday, and then I'll probably go see it on the weekend again.
That'd be awesome. I do want to go and see it again. I'll pay to go and see it again. Be very, very happy to.
Yeah.
But moving on then from Transformers 1, but kind of going back a little bit to Blockies, because Transformers 1 have also kind of paired up again with YOLO Park, and there's going to be some Transformers 1 figures through YOLO Park, as we have seen with this next wave of Blockies. And that's got me on to model kits. So this is about as much of a model kit as I've ever done with regards to Transformers. But there's been things out there. What is the view around, considering these Blockies have gone down very well with people, much for their charm and their stature, where do we see model kit Transformers now, when we're in an age of masterpiece?
The flame that Flame Toys hot rod,
I thought it was Flame Toys, yeah.
Gorgeous.
And
like I love the kits. Like I once I started Prime Time, I fell away from playing Warhammer, and I still love, as much as I love playing Warhammer, I love building and painting. Painting not so much, but I love the building, and I kind of fell away from it. So I actually like the two you've got there, the kind of Megatron and the hot rod. You were saying like you had sore fingers by the end of the Blockies. You would have sore fingers by the end of doing one of those. The model kits. They're good, but they're kind of a bit more challenging. But they're lovely. They're really nice. The YOLO Park stuff. I remember building. Was it the Rhinox I was building? I was texting you, ArrowFyre, with the aspect of, oh my god, this has got pistons that move, and it's just. The YOLO Park stuff really impressed me. Like it was a different level of model kit. The posability on the cheater, for example, from Rise of the Beast is stunning. Like it is incredibly good. And I think they are model kits, but they are highly articulated, posable figures.
Yeah.
Not like in the old model kits of like was it Revell that did the model kits back in the kind of 80s and 90s, and it was like you'd get your planes and stuff like that, which just where then it was built and it was done.
Yeah.
But
I'm not old enough to remember those, mate. Sorry.
It's something I wanted to bring up, because I feel like there's always been the feeling in the fandom is that if it doesn't transform, they don't want it, and I get that. Transformers arguably should transform, and that's why I do transform even the hardest masterpiece figures, with the exception of MP36, because that ain't happening. But you've got to try to they've got to transform. But there's more offerings out there when you get this hyper posabilities. Statues is one thing, but model kits, I suppose, is a transformation in and of itself. You're getting it from an A to B. it's a puzzle. That's what I've always said for Transformers. Is you're getting it from. Well, I just need to now. His arm's fallen off, but it's a, don't let that be an advertisement of Blockies. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. But it's
that's the new banner. We're fine.
Everything's fine.
We're fine.
Buy more. But yeah, you're just seeing so many more of them out there now. YOLO Park's going from strength to strength. Now Blockies is as well, but it's still got that kind of building, that puzzle element as you would do if you transform the Transformer. So I think there is much more appetite for it nowadays than there once was.
So this is going to sound slightly facetious, and I don't mean to come across that way, which I appreciate is quite unusual for me. But how far off are we from a masterpiece Action Master then?
But I suppose technically they kind of exist, don't they? Because you've got things. There's what's that big
Super
tongue
7?
I think of? Well,
Super
7.
7's
No,
like...
but no. What's that?
No, but
big
I mean
tongue?
the actual. So you think go back to some of the original Action Master characters?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
see
Oh,
what
I see
I'm
what
getting
you
at?
mean.
So those original characters that obviously never had an alt mode and would only ever conceivably have a robot. You start looking at these very very high end kits. That's now got to be feasible.
Yeah. Some of them surely should be a Super 7. Like I look at like the Super 7 Bludgeon, which I just recently got. Looks very like the Pretender shell. Whereas
I've seen that.
all the kind of current ones, or any kind of modern version of Bludgeon is trying to kind of do an amalgamation of both. That does a modern kind of articulated version of Pretender, because you're not going to get a Pretender shell proper articulated. You're not. Like, we just know that. You're going to get, in fact, actually, you're going to get kind of things like that one where it's just like, it's the articulation is the arms. So I like the idea of Super 7 kind of getting into that. And actually, Action Masters, you would get a proper action-y figure with posability without having the need to do transformation.
Yeah.
That's what Super 7 should be leaning into, rather than let's do an Optimus, let's do a Megatron, although having said that, the G2 Megatron they did is brilliant as well. So I think it's I always think that what a third party should do, and when I say third parties, I mean not Hasbro, so I include Super 7 in that. Companies aren't Hasbro, so Hasbro do the best Transformers, like hands down. If you want a toy that transforms, Hasbro are the best way to go, because they're fun, they're simple, and you don't need a 16-step video to watch how to do it. Like, you just actually pick it up out of the box and do it. That's what a Transformer should be. But then, like other third parties do, kind of high level, like the Devastator, like that Devastator. You're never going to get anything like Fans Toys Devastator from Hasbro. You're not. It's just not going to happen. Super 7, do something different. If this new age Megatron that's going to turn into a gun, it's filling a gap in collectors that Hasbro are not going to do, and that's okay for Hasbro not to do it, because there's so much in this franchise that it would be impossible for them to do everything. So are they going to do it at masterpiece level Action Masters? No, I would be shocked if they did. Super 7 should be jumping all over it and going, what can we do that stands out from, their Optimus Prime's nice, but it's nothing compared to an MP44, or even compared to that new Studio Series Optimus. Like, if you've got a choice, if you want an Optimus Prime, you're going that. You're not going Super 7.
Yeah,
but if you went Action Master, where's your only option? Super 7. Like, who's sitting in these meetings going, let's not do the thing that would make us unique. Let's do the same as everybody else. Anyway, that's my rant.
No, it's just we've spoken about it before, haven't we? Like, about when everyone just releases the same thing, it can just get very saturated, and it's nice when someone comes along doing something a bit different. And this is why I wanted to go down a model kit question, because it wasn't a thing. We needed Transformers, as they say, generally transform, or a pain in the ass to transform. So then when someone comes along and does a 2-inch figure that you clip together yourself, no one else is doing it, and it seems to have got a buzz. So I haven't sampled a YOLO part figure yet, but I have bitten the bullet and got a Transformers 1 figure on pre-order.
Just how many rabbit holes are you digging at the moment?
Enough. You see my collection. Absolutely. It's like squirrels are everywhere. But this is the thing. I don't go down multiple toy lines. I'm not like Moff with He-Man or Thundercats and whatever. That's not a criticism. I love seeing this stuff. But that's like I've got to stay in one lane, but then I have loads of little side turnings on this one lane. So, yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you about Moff stuff. I'm slightly jealous of the mask stuff over his right shoulder. And
The
if
mask stuff's only a new collection as well that I kicked off.
if they start reissue, if they do like a reissue mask line,
Oh,
I am stuffed.
Have you not seen the
so
news?
stuffed.
You've not seen the recent news?
Don't do this to me.
Right, so
Oh no.
so firstly, right, so mask. Ian was
Sorry, you
there
just
when
hijacked my stream. That's fine. You go.
it's a prime time off show. So Ian was there with that, like when I went to, when I went to Sandown last year. Like I did a trip with my friend last year where we kind of did 5 days. Came down the kind of very bottom England, did kind of all the kind of cool shops, went to like Kapow, went to In Demand, went to Airbase, did the comic fair, and I said I want to do a toy kind of collection that I only pick up in person because it's so easy to just go on eBay and buy things. And
That's true.
I missed the hunt for things, so I decided to do masks. So the mask collection literally started that weekend, and I think when I first saw you, I had a bag, like 2 big carrier bags. I've got loads of stuff. But I did pick up this. So this is a Ramen Toys mask, which is stunning. It is really cool. It's bigger in size than the kind of original Thunderhawk, so which I have here, so you can kind of see the comparison. Is
it's quite that's quite a
decent size. What Ramen are doing really clever is, again, go back to third party doing what Hasbro or what other companies haven't done. They're doing their next one is Great White, which is I can't remember the name of it now. It's the white,
the Porsche, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So it never got a real release, so they're now doing it. However, the news broke last week. Loyal subjects are now going to be bringing mask back officially. They have the license. So Loyal subjects have brought back Strawberry Shortcake and something else, but they are they've confirmed a couple of other lines, but nothing massive. It's like My Pet Monster was the other one I liked. But yeah, they're bringing back mask, and they have confirmed they will have the helmets. They will be pretty much the same size. They will have all the kind of gimmicks in their cars and vehicles. So we are getting proper mask coming back at some point, probably next year. So that is honestly, that was one of the most exciting bits of news. That last week's news for Takara doing the Missing Link RC, from Hasbro talking about the fact that the new retro Optimus Prime had to have its trailer rebuilt. It was on Triple Takeover. Last week just was like, my brain was in overdrive of, is this all actually happening? Like, what a time to be alive as a collector. What a time to be alive to be a collector. Honestly, like, I don't think it's ever been better for people like our generation to be into collecting, because the stuff that we're getting now is just unbelievable. Officially, unofficially, and then from mad lines that haven't had anything. Masks never had anything in other than the one figure. I don't think what it is. They did a G.I. Joe figure like years ago.
Was that the SDCC pack?
Yeah.
Is that yeah.
So other than that, they've had nothing, and now we're getting that. It is an amazing time to be a collector, but expensive. Expensive to be a collector.
Well, you've actually linked into my next bit quite nicely with going into Mars, and yeah, fine. Make it Let's Talk Mars rather than Let's Talk Transformers. It's fine. You go for it. But it with a lot of the re-releases, and particularly focusing on Missing Link, because as we say, Prime's trailer having to be rebuilt. Let's talk around retro collecting, going back and getting a lot of things that you never did. So I'll collect third party. I'm not going to pick up that Superior again, but I'll collect third party.
Stretch first.
Oh, mate, just a bit. And I really love the modern advancements. But as I said, I'll get this guy though, which I got for £15.
He's brilliant, isn't he? He's just brilliant.
He's great, and there's a sense of going back, because I never had him, and I always wanted him, and I 15 quid posted. So yeah, he's missing his little tiny pistol, but I can live with that. But yeah, also just talking about retro collecting in a different sense, maybe not going back as far as the 80s for toys, but things that you kind of go back that you never got at the time. And I got for £25.
Oh my god, that is gorgeous.
So pleased with this.
Ian, is that
Final
the-
tech.
I was about to ask you the Barn Tech or the alternator.
Well, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't actually know. Other than I got it on eBay, so it'll be kind of whatever it's listed for. I don't really know why one is called one and why one is called the other. So
Vinyl
someone can educate me.
Japanese release, isn't it?
Yeah,
Fine.
Vinyl Tech tended to have die cast in the construction, and the alternators tended to be
nice.
more leaning towards the plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The,
this-
the alternators, I think, were the Western version.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Argos,
check what
Argos
it
was
is.
where like most theirs that collected
The-
back in time where they got them. Argos for
Yeah, so that's where that
Yeah.
one came from. That's my original one from back then.
Oh.
That was in my uni days.
that's still
Yeah,
one
that-
of my favourite toys. It's just so well delivered.
The thing is, we talk about retro toys, and you talk about potentially reissues and leaning back into things that you've missed and that didn't necessarily get first time around, and they can often be quite a misassociation that vintage toys or that kind of collecting is automatically expensive, and if you actually look around and I appreciate it thoroughly depends on what you're into. Now, none of us are going to find a bargainous black Zarak on eBay anytime soon, but depending on what it is you want to buy, there are some you can buy some older vintage stuff, absolute peanuts, absolute pennies. There's some really good stuff out there
Yeah.
to be had for not a lot of money. And for something, and Ian, if you're saying you've paid 25 quid for that alternator smokescreen, you can't buy a deluxe in Smiths for 25 quid now.
It's very true.
And I know which of the two I'd rather have.
Yeah. It's just going back and scratching that itch of things now. Like it's nice to have the modern day stuff, but as you and I have said, Steve, around going back for some of the Beast Wars things, if you get some of the late Beast Wars stuff, I mean, I've long looked at going back for the Transmetal Rampage toy. I know Transart will do one, but that was an incredible big crab tank. Mine is battered, missing tank treads, well played with. But I've seen things like this I just never got. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
And people wanted money for this. Like, so you're right in what you say, can go for pennies. Wasn't always the case. People are still selling this or the Biotech version or whatever for £130. And I was just like, wow. So when this came up and for 25 quid, I went, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is there anything kind of, I mean, I suppose we covered off Moff's one with Mask, but is there anything that you kind of felt that you'd like to go back and get from years gone by? David or Steve?
I'm kind of, now you've mentioned it, and I'm literally looking at my smoke screen right now. It's, I had a similar look on my face, or I felt it inside, the look that Steve had when you started to mention the Mask toys. And you start to say about like you could get an alternator for £25, and I was like, oh no, this could ruin me. It's because they're genuinely nice. It's like, I mean, you've got like the rubber tires and the working suspension and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the other alternators were even cheaper than that. Like, and smokescreen's a desired one. There's some of them are like, because I went back 2 years ago to TFN and managed to pick up a pile of them, dirt cheap, and I was shocked because I'm like. And it was a triple takeover that caused me. Steve, you'll appreciate that pain of listening to it. And I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to experience some of these again. And I just went and went. So I'm just going to go and grab them. And some of them were like 10 quid. And it was just such a joy to pick up molds that I'd never experienced. I'd only got a handful when they were out originally. And it is just like you said, Ian, like there's a joy of going back and experiencing toys that you didn't experience at the time. And also I think there's points where sometimes you miss toys because you're like, this isn't what I want right now. You know, when it's coming out, you're like, I want a hyper realistic sound wave, or I want a whatever. And then now you've had all these kind of things, you can go back and go, well, let's just enjoy this toy. The one that always jumps out to me is Armada Laserbeak. The first time round, that was a toy that switched me off Armada. I was like, I'm done. This is crazy. And then I've picked it up since and went, this is great fun. That's a great toy.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Yeah.
Graham, you know what you talk about that Armada Laserbeak? Absolutely true story. It was because people didn't want it because it was sold at the deluxe price point. Of course, it's you don't put it on the shelf next to the other deluxes because it doesn't scale, and it shell formed horrendously. And I think it was like the tail end of Energon, maybe. I picked up that Armada Laserbeak. mint on card from my local Toys R Us, RIP, for 99p. They had them on
No
clearance.
way.
They had an
That's
entire
amazing.
wall of them
Which I can
on
understand.
clearance for
Whoa.
99p. And I was like, do you know what? I've kind of, I've
that
always
idea.
glossed over it. For £1, I'm having that. And it is great fun. It really is a great. You look back on it now, it's a fantastic little fun toy.
Yeah, I think like so things like this, like I'm also going to blame Sixo very much so because we were chatting at TF Nation and we're talking about the Subaru, and it's such an iconic car, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, I never really got them, and I was like, I do like this, and I'm looking at others, like I like the look of Swindle as the Jeep.
Swindle looks great, yeah.
Shockwave is
Shockwave in the Mazda RX-8.
That's that's good.
Yeah,
Jazz in the Mazda, although there was a prototype Porsche, but the Jazz one, because I know you like Jazz, the Jazz, the white version of that RX-8 is lovely as well.
When they've even thrown, there's original characters in there. That Decepticharge, who's the yellow, a whole original character that the Honda S2000 that's never come back since.
Yep.
And you're just like, what? I'd love to see that character get used again somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's definitely things out there you can go back. You can say you never got, but you can say I can now experience this at a different time of life.
Yeah,
but it's funny as you say, they can go for like £10. The worst one for me.
Okay, I need to find these now.
Well, you're normally at TF Nation. You're normally sitting trying to sell your commissions and work.
At the last TF Nation, I was stood there, and it was busy the entire time. And I kept having the thing of thinking, right, okay, I'll go off now and go look for something. And I was busy just literally right through until like the last 5 minutes of the Sunday. And then I was like, right, okay, I'm going to go buy something. And there were just so many. I was like, I don't know where to start. And I had no specific thing.
You get snowblind. Yeah. I know that I 100% empathize with that. I went crazy on a Friday night because I was so... At Manchester, I think I bought like 2 things just because I thought I need to buy something from Toy Fu, because it was just... I was so busy like you that I jumped around to try and see it, and I was like too much to see. So when I went to this year, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like that all weekend. I'm going to go on the Friday night, and I splurged like I've never splurged before, because I thought this saves me having to worry about it over the weekend. And I'm glad I did, because that was the crazy TFN. Like how busy that was. That Saturday, like it was like blinking, it was over. It was so mental.
It was crazy.
I've always described TFN, and particularly from the social side of things, I've always described it. It's a bit like a wedding. It's just such a whirlwind, and you never get to speak to everybody that you want to speak to. And you see people go, "Oh yeah, we'll stop later, or catch up, we'll have a beer," and it just never happens.
Yeah, you just don't.
And that's the way I've always likened it to. It's just like, for me, it's just like a wedding. It's just a whirlwind.
No, there's so much there, and of course, I'll show off because I have it here. One of my pickups, of course, from TF Nation is some very nice artwork done by very talented David Cousens there, which I absolutely love. Beast Wars Megatron destroying Optimus Prime, so that's lovely. I had to get it out with you being on, David. So I really like that. It will end up on the wall as we were talking about one of those frames. That sounds very interesting. Yeah, but let's go on to toy collecting, but secondary market prices. Now, this comes up a lot, but I'm kind of thinking around the impending release of Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. That looks brilliant. I told myself I didn't necessarily need it. Now I kind of feel like I do. But that is kind of retailing. I've only seen a couple of places. Is it around £90, 91, 95?
Yeah, that's what I've seen. Yeah,
I think the RRP for it's 95.
Yeah. So okay, it might be worth it because I think there's a lot to this figure. From looking at it, I think it's a masterpiece in all but name. But I'm thinking this is going to evaporate from the shelves. If you've got someone like me who is not predominantly a Chug fan getting it, there'll be a lot of other people like me who will do the same. And then it makes me wonder about secondary market prices. And I can see this going for 150 straight away. I mean, I did a video on these Dinobots recently. And they're great. I love them. They are 50, 60 pounds on retail for release. Secondary market is £100. These are great, but they're not £100 figures. But this is kind of what I feel like we're going now. So it's been talked of before, but let's beat the drum again. How on earth do you combat secondary market prices? I mean,
you don't. I've got a toy business to run. Shushed.
No, you don't.
Me and your friends. Me and you were friends.
Yeah.
We were friends. Whatever.
But I mean, I remember talking. I think it was to Rohan once upon a time, and saying about, oh, it's supply and demand, and it is what it is. And I'm like, well, I can't justify the massive ramp up in prices to be. Look, you know, Grimlock is good, but he's not worth the type of money that they're asking for him. And I think Prime will be good. I think it will struggle for availability. But when it comes in stock, yeah, I don't know. I do worry about what secondary price is going to be like, because I expect it to disappear from the shelves.
I think we
get our stock cut, just so you know, like, it is stupid. Like, I wanted to stock it because there's only a handful of the official stuff I'll stock, but I wanted to stock it. Thankfully, I got enough to supply, so I'm supplying some of the guys in our group. But I've not got any general stock because it was cut so little. Like, it's the demand for it is crazy. So I think it will. I think as soon as it's out, people will like put it up and they'll sell it for £150 to £200. It's frightening.
Yeah. I think we as you know, fans, collectors, everyone. I think sometimes we're our own worst enemies because we pay it. And the FOMO, you know, the FOMO catches hold of you, and then you think, oh, you know, there might not be a second run of this, or it might not get a reissue, you know, later on down the line. And you look at the stuff they've done with the recent legacy, sort of package refreshes or whatever the proper terminology is, and you're getting things like, you know, Dirge and Ramjet, which were very sought after Amazon exclusives and quite, say, poorly distributed. I think potentially the production numbers are a bit low, but I don't know. And people were paying a small fortune for those, you know, because they are classic big characters, but we still keep paying it. We all complain about these secondhand prices, and then we go, oh, but you know what? There's 150 quid. So people, if we stop paying it, those prices would come down. Is all I'm saying.
Possibly, David. Any views from yourself?
No, I mean, I don't. I've made my peace a lot of times. I'm more kind of, I've kind of followed what Steve's preaching, and that I won't pay kind of like absurdly over the odds for something once it's done. But yeah, I mean, it's the markups are insane. I mean, like you said, the Dinobots, the Grimlock's great, but it's not worth the £150 that people are charging for it, and it's just. It's kind of crazy, and it makes me slightly sad as well, because I mean, I'm on like certain like Facebook groups and stuff where people will sell stuff that when we don't want it, and you won't ask the earth for it. You're kind of like, okay, like here's roughly what I paid for it. I want to make back with postage or whatever, and kind of sell things on. But yeah, I don't know. The people who like literally, as soon as they sell out, you suddenly see them on eBay, and they're just going for like 3 times realistically what they're worth. It's just, it's a pain. I mean, it's like you said about the alternators. I can see everybody put up the prices now because I want to go find a £10 one.
Yeah, I do get it, and I just feel it rips the joy out of the fandom. It's you know. But funny enough, Drew's mentioned it in the comments around even Hasbro doing some secondary run on things now, even going back as far as like Fort Max and Metroplex, with rumors of the Metroplex coming out. I think Fort Max is listed to be reissued at some point. So it's you can get them. It's just I've always kind of played for, if you really want it, get it, pre-order it, secure it. Because and that's kind of how I feel I'm going to do with Prime, because I will see other people getting it, saying it's good, and then I want it, and then I can't get it. But I look at some of the things like with the hype that gets generated, and again, doing a fairly recent review on all 5 of the Dinobots and seeing how much they go for a secondary market. Just think, hey, how do you get around it? How do you stop it? And I think Steve's hit the nail on the head. You just don't buy it because people can stick them up for £999. They still won't sell. but it's annoying because I really feel it just kills the fandom for people just wanting to enjoy, want to get. And if it sells out and you have to wait for a restock, but you still pay the same price, okay, then that's the demand.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to pay 3 times the amount to get the 75th issue of it when everyone else has already got it. Like, no, it's just something. And of course, just got him off. He'll have one. It's amazing what he's got. So I drop him a message and say, "Have you got these?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've got one." But yeah,
and this is the price just for you. It's more than everybody else.
Yeah, he's done that to me as well.
He's got an ArrowFyre tax. I think that the challenge is like we live in a world where people don't have patience anymore. Like we're talking, David, when you were talking about the movie, right? And people were like, I got to see it early. Seeing the grand scheme of your life, the few weeks people get to see early is irrelevant. Waiting, 4 or 5 weeks extra to get a figure so you can get it at a reasonable price is irrelevant. But people are like, I need it now. We've got a culture now where people are like, oh, Amazon Prime things will come tomorrow. Like I don't have Amazon Prime. I don't even have an Amazon account because I don't live my life like that. I've never really got. I'm just like, I'll wait to get things. Like I'm kind of comfortable with it. If I want something, if you wait and patient enough, vast majority of the time you get it. Yes, there are some that go up in price, but I think in the grand scheme of things, you actually do okay. However, there are some figures that the other option to do it is something like that Commander Prime is going to be popular. So if you're not sure on it, pre-order it. The worst thing that happens, it comes in, just sell it. Like you in the nicest way, you could sell it, make some money. Like, and that's the bit is, I live in a very, very, very lucky position having a toy business. There are toys that I'm not sure if I want, but I'll get it for stock. And if I then decide I don't want it, I don't need to worry about it because I can just sell it as stock. But if I want it, then I can take it. So I say that with the bit of, I know my position is very lucky, but there are things I've learned from being in the toy business that I go, I wish I had thought about this before, because there are figures that I missed out on that did go up in price that I do now want. I could have got it and just decided, am I going to have it? And I don't open my figures like Ian, you were seeing me. I was like opening figures before doing this, like that I've had for ages, because I now go, I'll get it in, and if I'm not 100% sure on it, I'll leave it and wait to see, is my desire, 3-4 weeks still the same? If it's not, I've got a pile of stuff that I'll sell because I've wanted it when it's announced. Am I going to really want it? Is it going to have space? Does it fit in with the collection? So I think there is a balance to be had, but it is a challenging time. How do you know which figure is going to be that popular one? And how do you know which one's going to be a shelf warmer and going to go down to 99 pence? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, to use that Commander Optimus Prime as a quite specific example. I don't know, Graham, what you were saying about your stock allocation. I cannot believe that a figure of that magnitude in the 40th anniversary has not had its production run up 10%, 12%, whatever it is. Hasbro, we use it as their baseline. I just can't see they've not done that.
Well, do you remember they did a panel maybe 2 years ago, and they said there are certain figures that are so popular that will make sure that there's more than enough on the shelf for everybody. This feels like one of those figures, and yet everywhere sold out, and it's like, that's going to be crazy.
So my counter to that would be, and I want to get onto Virtual Dave's question in a second, but my counter to that would be, what about the Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus? You don't find that figure too often, and when you do, that's through the roof. Okay, Magnus isn't prime, but he's a pretty good second. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that logic would exist. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say Magnus is an interesting one because I was on the fence because I've already got the Siege one, and then I saw it and I thought I wasn't sure how it scaled, and I kind of looked and I thought, do you know what, this might be one of those figures that does come out, doesn't sell that hot, and then suddenly you're seeing it in game for like significant, like the Motormaster was like what, £35 or something.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like I would quite happily pick up that Magnus for about that price with hesitation. That thing's gone, and it just disappeared quickly, and it is expensive.
Yeah,
but
so I'd like to think
I rolled the dice.
I'd like to think that Prime would be a different case, but
Hopefully.
I don't know. We've been burnt before. But on the other side of spending too much money, going on to Virtual Days question, I think it's a good one, so I want to use it. What would be the figure, toy, or whatever character that you would pay crazy money for that everyone has? What's your golden ticket that you say I'm paying whatever the world is? Steve, we'll start with you.
Do you know what I was looking?
I even know what your one is actually.
I might surprise you. I was looking for one for ages, and I found one at TF Nation a few years back. I had been after a really minty G1 Defensor, like a complete. I want to complete, hot spots, ladder not knackered, no yellowing. Wasn't so fussed about the stickers because I'm quite happy to clean things up and sit and spend some time tile hacks, but the guns and everything, the small, obviously individual combiner guns are historically vacuum cleaner fodder with kids, and I wanted a complete set, and I found one at TF Nation, and the G1 stuff has gone up exponentially over the last couple of years, and I thought these are slightly overpriced potentially for fair market value, but I was like, I've got to have them, they're mine, and they were spotless, they were absolutely spotless. So I have been known to be, no comments from you, I have known to be a sucker for an emergency services deco, and that G1 yeah, I know that G1 Defensor was going to be mine. That was coming home with me no matter what, and it did.
No. Nice. What about you, Moff? But if blank check.
I think I wanted to do it at TFN this year. I went with it. I've never went and bought something big and crazy at TFN, and I wanted an Overlord, G1 Overlord, and the only ones I spotted were on, the only ones I spotted I would have considered were on Space Bridge and on Toy Fu. And it's interesting, right? So there were 300 each. And I was like, oh, did I do it? And I was like, they weren't perfect. And I thought, if I'm spending £300, am I not better? That sounds crazy. Spending a couple of £100 more and getting a perfect one. If I'm going to break my kind of record for spending, why not go all hog? And then on Sunday, the Sunday, there was another guy, and I don't know what his toy store name is, and he had one mint in box, and it was pristine, and it was 600. Had I saw that on the Friday, I'd have bought it. I would have went, oh, this is doubling the most I've ever spent on a toy, but it was beautiful. And the other one that is an absolute dream, that is 5 years into owning Primetime Toys, I might justify, is a Grand Max. I would love a Grand Max, but that's money. That's frightening money.
I tell you what, just going back a second, if I'm allowed to have two bites of the cherry, if I ever see I had one many moons ago, I had to sell them for a variety of reasons, but if I ever see another set of those e-hobby mini bots, the little e-hobby, if I ever see another set of those, I will probably just grab it. It's very much a case of Mrs. SCS, she knows what I do and don't spend. We were quite open with the finances in our house, but it will be a question of seeking forgiveness rather than asking permission. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll never find my body, but I will have a set of e-hobby mini bots.
Can I have a quick? Can I tell a quick story about the only time I felt like I reached out? So, and I was just reminiscing this with the wife. So Fort Max is my is my holy grail. Like I own him now. I own the reissue, but he was always the toy that I never thought I would own. And when they announced it, my wife was pregnant. The release date was going to be when she was off maternity leave. We were cutting back on everything to allow her to have the time off. And I was just like sitting there going, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, I wish I could get it. And she turned around and said, you need to have it. Just get it. She's like, if it means that we're a bit short and we just need to be a bit tight and maybe I need to go back to work 2 or 3 weeks earlier, it's worth it because I know how much this means to you. And then now the toy means so much more to me because that, and then the wee fella was like months old. I had him in the box. I took pictures. And I think it's that aspect, like that there are toys that are like break the bank for, but if it's meaningful, not just in the nicest way, like a Studio Series Grimlock, where it's like, oh, this is ridiculous price, something that's really means something to you, I think it's worth it. And that's where, like as you say there, when you see, if you see that hobby set and you're like, I need to have it, then the price is not irrelevant, but it's the value you'll feel in it, the enjoyment you'll get from it, the memories like that. That's my toy. If there was ever a fire, that's the one toy of everything I own. That's the thing I would take, because of how sentimental I am about it, because how much it means to me. And every time I look at it, I still smile and just go, I can't believe I own that, but how lucky I might have a partner who was willing to be like that at a time where we were trying to cut back. And I think that's the, price is relevant, but at some points it's irrelevant as well.
Yeah.
I try to hope mine don't get noticed. It's like sometimes my kids will point them out and I go, shut up.
Well, this old thing, I've had this for years.
My wife's quite toy blind, so she just sees it and just goes, oh, plastic crap. But then my kids go, oh, that one new, Dad. And I was like,
no, don't do that.
No, it's fine. It's been there forever.
See, this is why if you collect vintage G1, they go, no, look at the copyright. It says 1986.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah, I've had it always. Yeah. I mean, the thing that I would actually drop any sum of money on, there's probably a couple of things, but one thing that's never come out to my knowledge, and I would want to come out, I'd love to get like I don't like to use the term playset, but I can't think of anything better, but a toy version of Autobot City, all gold up.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, shown the image where someone's customed the Generations Metropets and Fort Max in City Mode and kind of merged them together, spray painted in gold. Looks fabulous. And I'm like, if you get me, it would be, Cat's Lair or Thunder Tank style Autobot City. And I'll use, it probably would have to be smaller than blocky figure, but I don't normally go in for play sets, but I look at it and go, a movie
diorama.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian, that's a great shout. Oh, I love that.
I might pre-order that.
Pay secondary market prices for that. No, it just that's always surprised me. That's one thing we've never got. Like, we've gone onto the Ark, we've got the Nemesis, and we're big into Studio Series 86 and reliving the movie. Yet there hasn't been any mention of, even like with the Nemesis, turned into a Titan that we've never heard of before. They created a brand new character to make the toy Titan. Why couldn't they do that with Autobot City? Why couldn't it just turn into a somewhat faceless, nameless robot? Could seemingly be like a Fort Max build, but make it gold, make it represent Autobot City.
You could do like a HasLab one.
They have to.
Yeah. Am I misremembering, or was part of the UK comic? Was Metroplex not at the dormant at the core of Autobot City or something? So you could tie it into Metroplex and make it a Metroplex, albeit repainted, quite purposefully, and reference those comics.
Yeah,
you're spot on, Ian. You could absolutely do it.
I just don't see why they haven't done that, because that's something that I would say. I didn't go for HasLab Unicron, didn't pay the money and what the money is now, because it's very, very high for it. But I'd do it for that. I'd have that sitting on top of my shelves there, big gold setting, and I'd have the world's smallest Transformers and all these other little minifigures just dotted around. Mate, I'd have like I'd get like a little New Age Devastator, Legend scale, and have it fighting against Magnus, and just recreate every scene from the movie. I want it now. I want to pre-order it. It's not even available.
If money were no option, I'd just devote a room to it. I'd have like a massive one that's scaled up with chug size, and I'm like walking over the whole battleground.
So is that? I mean, have you got one? And David, if money was no object, that you're gonna say, I'm gonna get this above everything else.
Do you know what? It was funny because initially I thought I didn't. When I first read the question, and I was thinking, and I thought there's things I'd like whatever the best Triptychon is or something would be quite nice. But there was a random one jumped into my head of go back to Flame Toys, when they occasionally made their more prestige brand. I can't think of Cara Corico
Yeah.
something. But it's basically, they made this Optimus Prime, and it was. I mean, I know I don't need another Optimus Prime, but it's about, I don't know, 450, 600 pounds or something. But it was when I saw it, I had like a reaction to it. It was like a chunky. He was built Optimus Prime. He was almost kind of like Power Master levels, and it had like working lights and all this stuff. So for me, it looked so aesthetically good. It had got past any kind of I didn't need to build it or transform it. It was like this thing is just posable and amazing, and it had like heft. And so that probably the one, because that jumped out to me. That's probably the one which I think like maybe I should have bought that.
No, there's some strong choices out there. I think, like Virtual Dave said in the question, like we've all got something that we say, stop everything. I've got to get this.
Yeah.
And for me, Autobot Silly, I think that would be hard to say no to. I let the art go, and I let HasLab Unicron go, but I wouldn't say no to Autobot Silly. That's an instant pre-order.
I mean, you'd have to think we are, what, 2 years, about 18 months away from the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie. If that is not the perfect HasLab project for that year, then I don't know what is.
But they've got to get that out now, because that would take time to produce if they wanted to get it released in time. But HasLab itself has gone quiet. No,
on the Triple Takeover, Evan said, I think, I could be wrong, look for Q1 for the next half.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's not leading up to Christmas. Is that a complaint the previous ones have had? I'm sure they said they were going to do it. They were going to announce it Q1. I can't remember. I think they said a month, but I can't remember. But I'm sure it was Q1, as in, you'll pass Christmas, you won't have the same challenges.
I think he said it was something about Deathsaurus, wasn't it? He said they'd listened to the comics. All of a sudden, people were like, "Oh, fantastic, Deathsaurus! It'll pair off my victory saber. It'll be amazing." And it's 250 quid or whatever the cost was. And sorry, you want me to pay in December? and he said they had listened to the feedback around that. I think you're right, mate. I think you're right.
Yeah. So all right, well because that's a good point that I want to go on to then. 40 years of Transformers. We've gone past the actual birthday, haven't we? Of Transformers Day, as it's now going to be in our diaries. Flex, that's actually when I went to go and see Transformers 1, just showing that off. But no, that was nice. But okay, has this been enough? Have we done well as Transformers fans, or is there more to come? Do you think we've had a brand new film? Allegedly, the Transformers Reactivate game is not dead, and that's going to keep going. And Earthspark's not dead, which sounds promising, thank God. And there's even going to be another series that's much more younger orientated than, say, Earthspark was. Skybound's doing really well. There's talk upon talk upon talk, and a lot of people said, "No, so this as well. We are eating good." But could it get any better? That's my question. Like, think of where we are now. We're coming to the end of the year. I still feel like more things could be announced. Like, Transformers is as big a name at the moment as anything else out there. You look at, I don't know, Power Rangers or any other license that's still going. When the X-Men cartoon, X-Men 97, got released, it was brilliant, and it was nice to see those toys back on the shelves again. But that's gone a little bit quiet now. But Transformers has stayed constant. So, do we think we are going to see any more from the brand of Transformers this year, or is this as good as it gets?
Did they not say they were still looking to reveal the supposed Commander Class Devastator towards the end of October? So we potentially have still
is it New York Toy Fair or something? I can't remember.
Something like that. So
end of October,
Yeah, Ian, I think you're right. I think we have still got more stuff to come. I think they're still going to want. I think they're going to want to build some hype and showcase some of the stuff that's going to come out early into 2025. So I can't see them being done yet.
Yeah, I mean we've had some real interesting stuff coming out. Not all of it's been brilliant. I'm trying to think back to the last video game. What was the one? Transformers Battlegrounds. That game put up a sign saying You get it for free if you spend 30 quid on something else. I thought you can't give away that game, but we have been doing so well. We've had a lot coming out. As I say, comics are doing really well, getting awards, getting recognition, and things like Transformers One getting attention on things like Rotten Tomatoes, getting high scores on that. So I'm thinking we've had a lot coming our way, but would it go any more? Would we get any more stuff coming? But yeah, Devastator would be a lovely release.
Yeah, I think Devastator's coming. That's going to be a big one.
I can't see the Sky, and I'll bow down to David with his far better knowledge of the industry than I got, but I can't see Skybound only having a single Transformers comic on the shelf for much longer either. They've got to be due a mini series, a spin-off series, a companion series. There must be something in the works because it's just doing so well.
I was going to say, yeah, it makes sense because I mean weirdly, there are more G.I. Joe comics than anything else. There's like 3 of them. But yeah, Transformers is just gone so strong. And like you said, it's got the Eisner Awards, which is like the comics Oscars. And that was not just an achievement in itself, because it is a fantastic comic. But to have, there's occasionally, and I don't agree with this, obviously, but there's occasionally a stigma about Transformers comics versus normal comics. So for Skybound to get past that and actually win like the Eisners, for because occasionally like property comics can be looked down on, which again I don't agree with because I've worked for some of them. But no, it's done so well, and you can see it. I mean, for me, it's been lovely to see for multiple reasons, because you got like non-Transformers fans are reading it and saying, "Oh, this is really good. This is really good fun." And then like the Transformers fans are reading it and saying like, "Oh, we can have like something different and new," and it's kind of like they're more accepting of different art. Like the general Transformers fans are more accepting of different art styles now, because once upon a time it was very much it had to look exactly the same way for a long time. And that's not bashing the kind of the IDW style at all, because it's lovely, but it's nice that people are going, "Oh yeah, we can have like somebody can draw it this way, or we can draw it this way," and it's really good stuff. But I'd like to hope that something video game related is coming, like other than Reactivate, because Reactivate, I don't know, it's troubled production. I'd like to see something like the High Moon games again, because they're still really good. They're 10 years old.
Absolutely.
They're still superb.
Yeah, there's a heavy rumor that they are being kicked back into life. But I've read, and I've said this before, but I'll quickly go over it again. I've read that High Moon Studios no longer exist. A company will have probably access to their assets and whatever. They'll have been bought out by someone, whatever. But and Hasbro are open to the idea of the games being remastered, but I think they're just looking for a developer to do it. But if it's just a case of they can just re-upload them to Steam or whatever, you don't have to remaster necessarily, just make them available again. I'd love them sort of upscaled to PlayStation 5 quality. Yes, I'd be all over that like a rash, but quite honestly, I'll just download the old ones from Steam and play them again, because man, they were just such good fun. And they were different, they were new. And I've said this as well, Transformers are not done so great when it comes to video games. There's been a lot of duds. I'm afraid so. There's been some gems, but my God, there's been duds. So why not go back to what is arguably the best Transformers game and kick it back into life? Again, it just feels like another thing they could do in the 40th year.
100%, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Okay, well, I've led a lot of questions at this point. Do you guys have anything that you want to bring up? Go on, it's an open floor. It's Let's Talk Transformers. We want to talk more about Subaru and Pretzels. I'm all for it, but I open the floor to you all. Anything that you guys want to talk? Don't give me awkward silence.
No, I was going to say that. Yeah, there's huge. What about what else? I'll throw a question out to yourself, Ian. I quite enjoyed watching your Jim Sorensen interview the other day. Have you got anything else in the pipeline that you're able to share, or have I just massively put you on the spot?
Nah,
you have a bit.
You can't share it. Then you can't share it. But is there more? Is there more similar stuff to come in that kind of vein?
Yes, I haven't set an absolute date, but I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit coy for the meantime. But hopefully,
Peter
the one and
Cullen.
only TF Nation are struggling to get to Peter Cullen. I've got no chance. But yeah, hopefully I'm getting Mr. McFeely to come onto the channel soon.
Nice.
So that was one that I wanted to get on for a while, and hopefully getting Billy Stripes to come on as well to do a little run up to the TF Nation minicon, which I thought would be nice to do that. I did try to catch up with Billy leading up to TF Nation, big TF Nation, but he was running out of time and doing the sofas, as it were, doing loads of other channels. And he did mention it to me, like, "Oh, it'd be good to do it." But I said to him, "Look, you're going to be off your feet. How about we do something for the minicon in November?" So I haven't got exact dates, but they're two things that I want. But when I did finish recording, and to be fair, Chris doesn't actually know this. He does know about coming on to my channel soon. But when I finished recording with Jim, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm hoping to do a video with Chris shortly." He's like, "I'll get the two of us on. Yeah, we'll have a chat, three of us together." I'm like, 3 of us together? It'd be like you two going at it with this like hive of information. There's just me sitting in the middle. What do I bring to the table? But
you bring the fire. You bring the fire.
Bring the fire, and you'll get burned. That's probably about as much as I've got. A few other things that I want to do. I get for me, and I don't want to wrap it up too much, but when I did Kang Toys Predaking, I'll have to pick this bastard up now. When I get to things like this that feel so long to get to, I always liken it to like finishing reading a book. Like you don't know what to do afterwards. I had that with Predaking, Kang Toys Predaking. Spent 2 years, put it together. When I did that video and put that video out, I just kind of got a real flump. I was just like, what do I do now? How do I beat that? And then it was a bit like this. And I'm not saying like they're the best videos I've ever done, but they were superior in 5 years getting that combiner. And I did it. And I'm like, now what? You're like, what do you go from here? I enjoy bitching and moaning about fan stores not finishing that combiner for 5 years. Now they've gone and done it. It's like Guns N' Roses releasing Chinese Democracy. But anyway, it's
well, you can do the TFC. Is it TFC the Abomination next? That's the next.
Yeah.
Abominus, or not Abomination.
That was the one that Andy said on my last stream. He said you had all 4 of them up for sale, and then the next day they finally released the 5th member. Took that sale post down double quick. But for me, that's. I don't know what else I've really got. I've kind of kept it a bit secret, but I have done my walk-on music videos before, where I do 5 covers of songs. I re-record them, and I put them against characters as walk-on music. And I wanted to do my 5th edition of that, my 5th volume of that. The only trouble is I record that all on a very, very, very old MacBook Pro, and that is dying. But that's where my music software is on, and it boots up. But if I try and record more than 2 tracks on it, it doesn't have a packet. So I'm trying to get around that, just because I use Logic Pro Studio, and that's £200 a license. So I don't want to drop that needlessly again. If I can just get around that. But that's something I want to do. I want to do another walk on music very, very soon. But yeah, that's all I'm giving away for now, Steve.
Well then, Steve, you put him under pressure.
You did.
He wasn't expecting that, was he? That would teach you to surprise us with it. That would teach you to surprise us with a quiz.
Yeah.
You knew a quiz was coming. You just didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to be on all the movies.
No, I just thought, I keep doing like general knowledge quizzes. So I was just like, what else can I do? And I thought, I'll try and do a visual one. And I thought, cars. I thought, I won't put in like Generation 1 stills, because we could probably all know those from the back of our hands. So how about the live action movies? Yeah, be a prick. Yeah, go on, I can do that. But is there anything else other than obviously the mass push of Transformers 1? Is there anything else we're particularly looking forward to in the 40th year?
Missing Link has just been outstanding. Like the Missing Link Prime was, I think it's my favorite toy of the year because it had all the nostalgia of getting my first Optimus Prime and just being like, this is amazing, and then getting him out and kind of going, how does this work? How does it have articulation? Oh my gosh, look at like on the arm and it's like molded parts. It blew me away. And then we get Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee coming, and then they announce, Sunstreaker, which I was over the moon with because Sunstreaker is going to be amazing. But then they go into the RC, and honestly, like, I continually keep thinking about it, going, nothing's off the table. Like, literally nothing's off the table. When we thought previously about reissues, you talk about like the retro reissues, it was like, right, we know we're going to get Soundwave, Blaster, the Insecticons, Perceptor, because we know the molds are there because that's the same ones every time.
Yeah.
But we're running out of them. What are they going to do next? They won't rebuild stuff. Well, they've rebuilt the Prime trailer. They've done a Missing Link Sunstreaker. It's not as if they've taken the Sunstreaker mold and articulated it. They've had to rebuild that entirely. And then RC, like that, no, there is not a single person could have said, I bet they're going to do an RC G1. Nobody.
Yeah.
And that is just, in the 40th anniversary, this toy line still continues to surprise you from toys from the original era. Not like they're, that Studio Series Prime does look like it's going to be the pinnacle of kind of Hasbro toys, the kind of toys. I think that was going to be the best toy we've had, definitely of a Prime. But then it kind of go, well, let's go back and take things from 40 years ago, make them even more fun and articulated, and let's do stuff that you would never expect. It just, I said about that when we were talking about masks and stuff, that it is an amazing time to be a toy collector. And I think it comes really quick, and this stuff comes in. If you don't pause and take a chance to enjoy it, and I say that my big bit is take my time to open stuff, because if it just comes in, I just open it. And there are things I have done that with, like, I'm not going to lie, some stuff comes in, you're like, I just need to open this now, it's going to be amazing. Blockies were like that. Like, honestly, Blockies arrived, and I was like, I said to my boy, does he want to do it? And he's like, can we do it at the weekend? And I was like, I'm not waiting. I can't do it.
I said, no.
I had to talk about it, and I thought, I actually want to experience this. And see, as soon as I did one, I was like, you did one, and it's like, this is great. Like, it's such a fun, tactile experience, and it's then enjoying it. And I think it is just there's a lot of people that feel as if we've not had amazing toys from the 40th. There's things that people are missing, because every single person has this is what I would like to get in the 40th anniversary. Like we all do. We all have our preferred options. And Hasbro, there is no way they could hit everybody's. But if we actually pause and look at some of the toys that we've had this year, or we're going to have had by the end of the year, it's pretty incredible. Like some of the things we've had, the changes in the engineering, how they've taken things going forward is just fantastic.
I mean, I think even some of the niche stuff that they've been doing, like sorry, everybody went at the same time.
Everyone at once.
I won't take long because everybody's got thoughts. But no, I was going to say stuff like I never would have guessed that we'd have like the comic style Flamin' MSR on 2 packs.
Yes.
It's like,
It's
such a deep cut.
Yes, it's a very deep cut. Yeah, massively. I think the Robosen stuff, the Megatron. Like, think about how Transformers is going into that kind of the fandom and the stuff that can be done. This is why I say, like, nothing else is touching this. Who has robotics? Scheduling toys. I mean, I watched Sixo's video of that, and I saw the size of it. The fact it's the size of the Ark in Titan scale. And I thought, and there'll be a call for it, and there'll be a call for more. There's talk of Scrapper. I think there was a Scrapper release once upon a time, prototype some time ago. But there is just so much coming out. I don't want to say too much. There's not too much, but for so many people, depending on what your part of Transformers is, with 40 years, whether you're comics, whether you're toys, whether you're cartoon, third party, whatever.
Ian, I think you've hit the nail on the head there depending on what your portion of Transformers is, because with a lot of other franchises, you're going to say something like Star Wars. You're either kind of into Star Wars or you're not. And Star Wars is a very, very all-encompassing. Everything's part of everything else. It's all canon. It's all continuity. And I think that's one of the things that's always fascinated me about Transformers. One of the things I like about Transformers in around the flexibility is that somebody could be really, really interested in Transformers animated, but not care for Transformers Prime, or they could be really, really into Beast Wars and not care for Transformers Cyberverse. And we've all got our little pockets. And what's really great is you can come on a chat like this, and we're all into different things. There's probably and I can't say that I know anybody personally, but there's probably Transformers fans out there that have never picked a Transformers toy up in their life because the fiction, they're all about the fiction and the lore and the characters and the comic books and then the animation. And there's probably vice versa. There's probably really toy orientated, almost toy engineer levels of people's fascination with the figures who've never watched an episode, never picked up a comic book because that's not their bag. And mate, you've absolutely nailed it with that comment. It's such an amazing, diverse franchise in what it can offer that there is quite literally for me anyway, which is why I get frustrated around some of the online discourse. There's something for everybody. There absolutely is.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, and I appreciate I've just spoke a bit there, but to pick up on Graham's point around the missing links, just to take it back there for a second. And I'm just as guilty of this as anybody else. Is what I find fascinating is when these figures get announced and we're looking at the missing link Sunstreaker. We knew that the G1 mold was lost and we weren't going to get a reissue of that, and all the comments, and myself included, does this mean we're going to get a red one and a police car one? And people aren't interested in the fact they're getting a Sunstreaker. All they want is what's coming next as well. Yeah. And just for the record, I do want a red one and a police car one, and I will buy them.
I don't think anyone was ever going to question that, Steve, if I'm honest with you. But no, I think this is it, though. We are. Oh, it's been said, isn't it? The plastic crack. It's the hunt as much as anything else. But when it shows real healthy living, that is a lovely drink container you got there, Crow.
It's a G2 drink container.
It's very G2, isn't it? But it shows like we're in a point where so much can be released, and if you're getting concept art, I think a line came out when it was the Titans Return kind of stuff, and it was saying like we're now on duocons, and they were being released under the Chug line. It was like, people were of the impression of you're scraping the barrel a little bit, but it's like, come on, there's a lot of fandoms that don't get through their primary figures before they go bust. The fact that they're even thinking to release duocons and the stuff that we've had now. What was the one that you mentioned, David? Flame and
Flame and Darren.
Yeah, you're going so deep on that, and like if they're going to go down that route, are we going to get like Obelisk from the opening of the '86 movie? Are we going to? How deep are we going to go? To get something of anything? But
didn't they say that they're actually going to do every single character that was in the movie at the '86?
Did they say that?
Yeah. I'm sure I've read that somewhere. There was going to say that every single
or they would, the aspiration would be, or
yes.
It was something.
Well, we've got to have the Autobot City then. Come the end of it, that's got to be the final release, surely. I mean, it's a character as such, but it transforms.
I think we're in a position now as a fandom, and don't get me wrong, it's an incredibly strong franchise, and none of us are naive. We all know that Hasbro are out to make money, but nothing is off the table. Literally nothing is off the table. And whether you start talking back to go into the model kits, Masterpiece Action Masters, whether you're talking about repaints of obscure repaints of really, really obscure characters, rebuilding G1 molds from the ground up, if it's financially viable and there is a demand for it, literally anything could happen, and I think that is so just so exciting. That is so exciting.
Missing like G1 Unicron for the 40th anniversary of the movie. Boom.
But
imagine that. Like, and there's people who would say nobody wants that. Like, who wants that Unicron? That thing would be unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Popular. That's
would
one of those ones you
disappear.
don't wait around for. Like that would go for crazy aftermarket. And that, see, 2 weeks ago, you would have been like, nah, there's no chance of that. Suddenly, it's not really off the table. And
it's really not.
Mind-boggling. That's mind-boggling. And it is just exciting for the future of the franchise. You're sitting in 40 years, but excited about the next.
So just while we're talking about some of the missing link stuff, and this is absolute speculation and conjecture on my part, and please put me right if I've misunderstood some of what I've read. I'm not convinced that RC figure is actually going to be a missing link figure, because when you think to yourself that the RC figure never existed in the first place, how do you missing link something that never happened? So I'm thinking, is it actually going to be the first, bear with me because my wording might not be right, the first new G1 figure that we've ever had?
Do you see
what I'm getting at?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I know, and I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. Yeah. And I will still take it in 2 color schemes. I'll have it in movie 86 and in the original one with the orange accents. But, just saying. But
and you will bow to the pressure that Hasbro put you under.
If you don't support these releases, Ian, we won't get more of them. That's my.
Don't put this on me, all right? It's not. I'm not keeping the fandom afloat. Well, contrary to popular belief.
You're not, because you're by third party.
Oh, pot kettle. But anyway, it's this. Yeah, as you so rightly say, Graham, with that Unicron, like nothing is off the table. And do you know what I'm thinking at the moment? This might be a bit of a stretch, but bear with me. When Transformers was at its height of popularity, and I also liken it to Pokemon when it first started, it was everywhere, and therefore everything was everywhere. You would go into, like, you just have the logo of Transformers on bed sheets, I don't know, lunch boxes, and it's slap it everywhere because it's so white hot. You can't not. It will sell because it's got the Autobot logo on it, just like it was with Pokemon. It was absolutely everywhere. I wonder, is Transformers at that kind of stage again now? Because I saw it in game today as I was in town. It's that big plushie, and it's a big cuddly Optimus Prime, like plushie head. No one's asking for it, but it's basically make it look like Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime's gone into Lego. The likeness is getting used in video games that aren't Transformers video games. It's like, it's such a buzz nowadays. Yeah. Is it just slap Transformers on any product you like and it will sell because the popularity is so high?
I think it is, yeah. Like before TFN, I had a pile of lunch boxes, lunch bags, coffee mugs, water bottles, and stuff that I'd been picked up for like Morrison's and Range for other people. Like I brought a big, massive bag down of stuff for people who hadn't got. You're literally able to get. Kids could get their whole stuff, their backpack, their lunchbox, all that stuff, and Transformers. And I think it is, and that's an interesting bit. Like you think where the fandom is now that you could. That Transformers is in places like that, in Morrison's, in Asda's, in Tesco's. Like it's a brand that is now just in general awareness now. It's not a niche brand that's only in special collector stores. And there's lots of franchise out there that are. Maybe Turtles isn't. I'm looking around my room trying to think of other examples, but like Toxic Crusaders. So I've got like Toxic Crusaders Super 7. You're not getting that in general stores. But Transformers is in general stores, He-Man's not even in general stores. Like Transformers, Star Wars, there's not many big franchises that are in there. Transformers is in that bracket, and as you say, has never been hotter, has never had more toys. There's more toys this year than we've ever had. And is it going to just exponentially get worse every year? Like we're doing in primetime TV, we're going through the 40 years and just seeing the growth of it. We're at a point where we're having to change how we're doing the videos because we've realised we can't keep up with this, and we're only in 2007. Like, when we get to talking about when we reflect back on this year and the toys that have been released this year, it'll be frightening. So there is always a worry of does it get too big and it then kind of goes, it needs to come back down again. But I don't know. I just can't see it. No, I can't see it.
At the moment, it just feels like it's going from strength to strength, and we are at a point now where you got a lot, as I'm sure you can all appreciate. You've got a lot of people with their kids who are getting into the fandom and have their own corners of the fandom. So it's kind of generational and family supported. And so when it's like that, you just keep going. You just keep riding a wave. And okay, nothing's forever, fine. But hey, we got 40 years, and it feels as popular now as it has done. It's gotta be as popular now as it has been since the fall of '86, if you like.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look
it's-
in the last year. In the last year, there was a crossover with Fortnite where you had like Optimus was in the battle pass, and
We
you could
know,
buy
don't
the
we?
Bumblebee and the thing. And then there
Yeah.
was like Overwatch. That was only about 2 months ago. Like they had those
That was
special.
recent, yeah.
They had that really good animation, and then they
Mhm.
upset everybody by saying the skins cost £20 each or something.
Oh, is that how much it was?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because I almost thought, oh, I might check out Overwatch again because I haven't played it for a long time. And as soon as I was like, no, okay, no, I don't need
yeah,
to.
hard no.
I'd just rather buy an actual toy. Thanks.
Yeah, I can actually buy and get a deluxe for that one. But yeah, Fortnite as well. Graham and I have played that, and we jumped wholeheartedly in getting the skins, didn't we? And but it's
I went to
popularity.
game to buy the physical one so I could get the posters. And I like we're talking about the DVD stuff. I've not bought a game on release in probably 5-6 years, but I went and bought that Fortnite one on release so I could get a physical one, so I could get the 2 posters because it was Transformers. Like, and it was just like, this is exciting, and I've now got the Transformers Fortnite in my collection of games and stuff. And it is that crossover appeal. Like, it has that crossover appeal that it will help. They're bringing that in to help sell copies of sell stuff on Fortnite. They're bringing it into Overwatch to sell copies. It's now a brand that's seen as we bring it in and it will help our brand. And that's huge.
Yes.
Because
I mean, just look at the. Sorry, no, I was just going to say. I mean, just to follow on from the video games point, you look at the comment in the chat there from C4 Darkman with Optimus Prime coming into Minecraft. Minecraft is not a small franchise. I can't imagine, to come back to Graham's point, that I can't imagine Minecraft need assistance with their sales figures, yet they want to be involved with Transformers. That's the point that Transformers are in, is that Minecraft want to be involved and be associated with the positivity of Transformers.
I always wonder if how many of these kind of people who are in, so say Minecraft, the developers of Minecraft, what age are they, and are they Transformers fans, and are they at that point where now they're, the Transformers fans are getting into these kind of businesses, running things and going, how cool would it be if we had Transformers in this? And there's every possibility of that. There is every possibility that people there, in the nicest way, I cannot believe MD working in like Minecraft, for example, will not be geeks. So if they're geeks, there is a chance they A, know of Transformers, and B, are fans of it. And that's where I think where we are in terms of society and the general acceptance of geekery is, 20 years ago, I remember getting my first Transformers t-shirt, I'll use that as an example, and it was in a dingy wee shop in Glasgow that sold collectibles, but it was a proper off the kind of main road you had to kind of go to in a dodgy area. And it was like one t-shirt, that's it, that's all they have, one t-shirt. Now you can go into, you've had Transformers t-shirt in Primark and Asda and all these kind of bits. But you go into your Asda, go into your Tesco's, you will see Star Wars, Transformers, you will see multiple geek stuff. So it's far more accepted. And I think that's because people kind of who grew up in the 80s, 90s are now getting into these companies and going, well, why are we not selling this stuff? Or why are we not connecting with them? Why are we not connecting with that audience? Because people like us have money. So actually, if you can connect with them, you get to spend. So it's a really interesting time to be in that point of, I want my Transformers toothbrush now. That's it. If I get my Transformers toothbrush, I'll be happy.
I'm not entirely sure that people like us do have money though, because we collect Transformers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. And you too can sponsor a Transformers collector and make sure they have a meal each night.
Sponsor a Transformers fan for Christmas.
You get a newsletter in one of those plushy Optimus Primes that Ian Sorry gave earlier.
Oh dear. Right. I think what we'll do is we'll start to wrap up because I want to give you all a little bit of time to talk on the outro, and I actually wanted to talk about something that I forgot as well. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on. It's been lovely talking to you this evening. So I'll go around you all. Just talk me through everything you've got coming up and everything. And actually, Steve, I'm going to start with you, and don't tell me you haven't got anything because you're not a big YouTuber, this, that, and the other. As I said the other day, your photos that you're putting up on Instagram and on Twitter are really coming along very nicely, sir. So what's next for you? You've got to be looking ahead as what's next.
You're and as I always say, you're very kind. So you will see me quite frequently on my treadmill, just in case nobody had ever noticed me on that thing beforehand. Hopefully not throwing my back out and doing my knee in again, because that was a bit daft. We'll continue to try and post some photos. They are figures from my collection. It's predominantly G1 and Transformers Prime stuff, but every now and again when I get hold of something vintage Beast Wars stuff off eBay, they will go on there as well. Can mostly be found Twitter and Instagram are probably the two things that I interact with the most. I have kicked around the idea of maybe doing a little something on YouTube. I did have a little bit of a brainstorming session for maybe a format of something that I was interested in. Maybe I'll run it past you next week. We will see. But that is so far in the distance. But for now, my handle's on the screen in the bottom there. If anybody wants to come along and chat about running and chat about come and look at some of my attempts at photography or photography, as I tend to refer to it as, then please feel free.
No, I mean what I say in the tweet the other day. You're learning. You can see you're learning with each photo, and everyone's just got that a little bit better each time, and then they're not bad at all to begin with. But I've noticed particularly there has been a jump in quality. Do keep up the good work. Do look at like all kinds of techniques and even, I don't know, different editing software, anything like that. But you'll keep going on the upward trajectory. I really do love what you're doing.
Thank you, mate.
Good stuff. David, what are you working on at the moment, and where will we see you potentially in Reading?
You will see me in Reading, yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm going to. This is my first mini-con, but yeah, I suddenly thought, yeah, do you know what? Reading's like about an hour's drive away from me, and I love TF Nation so much. It's literally my favorite time of the year, which is like hilarious to say, but it's like really, really good fun. So yeah, I would definitely be at Reading. I'm trying to think which things I can say. Okay, there's comic-wise. If you check out the new Terminator comic, I'm doing the variant covers on that. So if you are going to order it, pre-order my cover. Because that'll get me on more in the future. So no, I'm on. There's like 6 covers. That's because that's the first issue is coming out next month. There's a lot coming out next month, but that's actually selling well. That's going to be quite good. Hopefully, that's like 6 issues of that. There's another thing I can't talk about, but if you keep your eyes on comic, I keep your eye on my social media because I will be sharing stuff. There's stuff I'll be doing, and yeah. In the meantime, yeah, go to my coffee and buy something. Buy a print. Buy 2, buy 10.
That's coffee as in KOFI, isn't it? Not a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, don't buy Starbucks.
No.
David, can I ask just, are you attending TF Nation as an attendee, or are you exhibiting?
I'm exhibiting again.
Cool.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, I'll be but I always hang around afterwards, and it's like
exactly.
There we go. It's stuff like that. Yeah.
You can pick up more lovely stuff like this.
We'll be bringing. If you went to TF Nation this year, if you were at the ClubCon, you would have seen the RC print, the RC Aliens 2, Aliens homage.
Oh yeah.
I'll be making that available as a proper print, like a full size A4 and A3 print this time around.
That's so nice. Excellent, good stuff. Look forward to seeing you there. So I hopefully actually get more chance to actually talk to you this time, because I feel like we called up more following TF Nation than we did actually at TF Nation.
Yes, yes, we did. Yeah, we kind of met post TF Nation, I guess.
Yeah, we did. Excellent. Graham, floor is yours, because I think you maybe have an announcement you want to drop.
Nah, I've got nothing going on.
Okay, well, thanks for coming.
Thanks very much. So I have got a couple of things going on. So TFUK Con. Can I do the TFUK Con one first? Is that all right? So
Yeah, go for
TFUK Con, the tickets go on sale on the 1st of October. So 2025, we are in the same venue as we were this year, which was the Cobden Hotel. We have a new website, tfukcon.com. So you can go on there and get all the information. As I say, tickets will open up, and trader applications open up on the 1st of October as well. We have announced some of our guests. I'm trying to make sure I remember which ones we've announced so I don't accidentally leak another guest. So we'll get James Roberts.
On the website.
We have James Roberts. We have Bob Skier. Bob Skier has never done the UK and is flying over from America. So he was the writer of Beast Machines and things like X-Men, Batman animated series. Like he is
he's done a lot.
outstanding actor. He is. I am genuinely tempted. I know we joke about Thursday Club, but I'm genuinely tempted to go down the Thursday night so that I can spend the Friday having like lunch with him and just chat to him, because I know that as much as I'll get to interview him on stage, it will not be enough. He is. We had a virtual interview with him and it was incredible. So he's wonderful. Last week, the Transformers a show announced we have secured the venue for the Friday night. So we have had to pay for the venue for the Friday night this year. So we wanted to make sure it was a worthwhile event. So Friday night will now be Transformers a show night. So I have no idea what they're going to come up with, but they will be in charge of the Friday night. So let's say it's 8 p.m. Cobden Hotel, and there'll be good fun. We are going to then have to replace them on the Saturday evening, and the news for today is what we are going to be doing the Saturday night. So as it become a more primetime event, we have decided that Saturday night will be kind of like Saturday night primetime TV, kind of game show-esque. So we've got some ideas. We're still working on it, but we will have Chris McFeely as our participant, host, willing subject. Don't know what we call it for the Saturday. Yeah. But for example, imagine something like The Chase with Chris McFeely as the chaser. So that's the kind of thing you may see
Brutal.
at
Brutal.
Annihilated.
It'll be challenging. But I think it's Chris is great. Chris has came the last 2 years and is just so lovely, so giving of his time, and was like so appreciative of coming 2 years. And he's like, you don't need to have me back. It's fine. We're like, we'll have you back, but can we maybe not just do an interview? Can we get you to do some other stuff? And he was totally up for it. So we haven't fully worked out the full details. We'll get months before to get that in place. But there are still further guest announcements to be made before the end of the month. And there will be lots of surprises and things that you won't know about in advance. We very much want to kind of build on the enjoyment and experience. You know, a big bit this year was about it being a birthday bash, was about the attendees' experience. We want to kind of build on that. How do we make sure that the attendees have a great experience, the traders have a great experience? We have a whole new committee. There's 4 of us now on the committee. We have people doing different jobs throughout the day. So you will see us grow and get even better. I think this year was really good, but I think next year is going to be even better. So that's TFUK Con. So also I have Primetime Toys, and the kind of news for Primetime Toys is that you'll see a bit of a rebrand again on the 1st of October. So new business year, that's why things happen the 1st of October. But there'll be a kind of slight rebrand as Greg is stepping out of the business and I am taking over fully. So we're going to kind of have a slight relaunch, kind of rebranding into a kind of Generation 2. So hence I love Generation 2 in the colours. So the wonderful looking Monks is currently working on my designs for the kind of logo, a new kind of flyer, and hence I think you shared it as well, ArrowFyre, that the code Welcome 10, which is on the current flyers, will now expire at the end of the month, and a new code will come at some point in the future when I do new flyers. I've still got a pile of flyers there, so I kind of don't want to just start new flyers and bin them, so I'll work through them. But there'll be a slight rebranding as it goes more into myself, and you know, I've got lots of fun ideas of things that I'll be doing with the business, so keep on it. And then one last one, I seen Guzzy put up about NEC Toy Fair. So personally, I'm going to the NEC Toy Fair next Sunday. I love the toy fairs. Like, we seen you last year at the Sandown one, and I would have went to the Sandown in November had it not been for Reading. Like a 7.5 hour drive to Reading for me is probably enough for 1 month. So I've got a 7.5 hour drive down, a 7.5 hour drive back up. When Billy was talking about at TFN, he was talking about the Minicon, and it was a joke. I said, "Why do you get one up in Scotland?" He's like, "Because people from down south will not come to Scotland, but idiots from Scotland will come to Reading." I was like, "Yep, me." And he genuinely, they were planning it, they were like, "Will anybody come from Scotland?" He's like, "I know one idiot that will come," in a nice way. I as soon as they announced that, I messaged him saying I'm in. Like, I love TFN. I love being at TFN. I thoroughly love trading at TFN. It's such a different experience. You know, my joy of this year was being able to bring Andy along and get him to get an experience of it and get a chance to behind the table. But I am very much looking forward to TFN Reading, and hopefully, as long as TFN will continue to have me, I will always drive, however far it is. I don't think there's much further I can go than Reading, to be fair. I think that's hopingly that's the furthest they'll put it, but I will be at them all.
You don't fancy doing TF Nation Southampton then?
Is that further? I don't know my geography for down south.
You can't get much further south, to be honest, unless you start going to the Isle of Wight.
Well, I'm going to. I think my holiday next year is driving down to kind of Bournemouth, kind of way. So that's kind of far down.
That's pretty south. Yeah, it's pretty south.
Reading's pretty bad. 7.5 hours to get
long.
as a trip, but you know, it'll be worth it. I'll get to. For me, as much as it is good fun trading, I get to see my friends. Like, you know, and the sad bit of TFN is I was so busy. No, you're one of my acquaintances. But I didn't get enough. I didn't get enough time, and I said that to you on the Sunday night. Like, I'm just so busy trying to see every day. That's the challenge with it. So I'm hoping that Reading will be a bit quieter. It'll be a bit more subdued. Actually, I'll get a chance to kind of spend some time with people. So
I think we only spoke properly. I think it was the Monday morning.
Yeah.
I think it was actually the Monday morning by the time we actually got a proper chat.
It was. This one was mental. Like, it was the most fun. It was what impresses me. TFN do an amazing job running something like that. You know, like running a convention of that size for it to run so smooth. Like, and I can't thank, like, on a personal level, I think Billy and the guys do an amazing service. The way that they supported us as a business to try and be a part of it, to support us, to make sure, you know, is there anything you need, anything we can do for you? And they're so accommodating and so helpful. It's just a joy to be involved with them and be a part of it. But this year was just a different level in terms of attendees, but in terms of organisation, and they were just so slick this year, and it's like, well done.
And expect next year to be even more attendees.
Yeah,
like you know, I can see it going past 2,000 straight away.
Who's going to that and then not want to come back again? Like,
absolutely,
like, so good.
Yeah, massively so. Okay, well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on. The only thing I want to just tag on to the end is you may have seen on my channel, I am doing a giveaway for clearing 3,000 subscribers. And just to remind you, the competition end date ends this Monday, the 23rd at 8 p.m. British Summer Time. So make sure you send the email, which I've done on the video, and I'll put a link into the description if you want to go to it. But you just email to arrowfyrecomps@gmail.com, showing that you have subscribed to the channel, that you have also entered the competition by doing so. And yeah, the draw will be, closed. Entry, I should say, will be closing at 8 p.m. British Summer Time on Monday the 23rd. So thank you very much to all you so far.
You don't have a wheel to reveal the winner?
I am not doing a wheel. Never again doing a bloody wheel.
6-hour live stream.
I lost the will to live.
That was hilarious. Your face was one of my favourites because you were just like, you couldn't poker face that evening, mate. No poker.
No. I was done. I was so done. But yeah, no. Thank you very much to everyone who has entered the competition so far, and hopefully there will be one very happy, lucky winner very soon. Gents, thank you very much for coming along. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Stream.